Okay, this video we have some stuff from Harbor Freight and I think one item from Amazon. We're doing a little bit of renovations around the house, so I had to get some stuff to help that out. So anyway, let's get the camera turned around and get into it. Okay, first up, well, let's see. Let's do the small stuff first. We got some brushes. Obviously, this is two brushes. They're just zip tied together. Two separate brushes for cleaning the truck and the car, right? Needed some new ones, so we picked these up. Okay. Also, we got one, I guess you can see that, on a pole. Because it's not easy to get the top of my truck, so here you go. This is a pretty good one. I've had these before, but not from Harbor Freight. And this one seems to be pretty sturdy. I don't know if it is because I haven't used it yet, but it seems to be. The pole's a lot bigger around than the other ones that I've used. I think I picked them up at Walmart or either one of the parts houses. I didn't even know Harbor Freight had these, but they do. So anyway, next item. I guess you can see right there what it is. Compression sleeve puller, a ferrule puller. It screws on, and then you screw the nut that's on your pipe onto here. And then you tighten this, and it removes the ferrule off the pipe, like when you're replacing a valve to the toilet or the sink or wherever. These are handy because sometimes it's very hard to get those ferrules off once you've tightened them up and they've been on there for years. So there this is. I may do a video of using this when I get around to using it in the house, right? Okay. Next up. I guess you can read that. I don't necessarily have to say it, but it's a double row segmented diamond cup wheel. It is for a grinder, like an angle grinder, 4.5 inch. It's for grinding concrete, making concrete smooth, prepping it so you can do whatever with it, paint it or whatever. So, I got two of them because I've never used these kind of concrete grinders. I don't know how long they're going to last, how good they're going to work, so I figured I'd get two of them just in case. That way I might be able to get the job done between the two of them, right? All right. Next. Oh, in case you didn't notice or didn't see, those are from Harbor Freight and they're Hercules brand. And I guess the item number is right there if you want to know that. Anyway, put that back. Next up, another Hercules. This goes on your grinder and you can hook a vacuum hose right here. That way when you're grinding, all that dust from the concrete don't go flying everywhere. And yes, it comes with the hose, the attachments that goes to it. So that's pretty cool. We're going to try these out here sometime today. First, I told you I was going to take this stuff out of the package, right? I always do. Anyway, funky little handle on that dude, ain't it? Just for scrubbing the wheels or whatever on the vehicles. Told you it was two separate ones. Anyway, here's the big one. And of course, you loosen it here and it extends. It extends, or you I know that it's not really doing justice to it, but it's pretty long. Anyway, the oil on it kind of smells. It also has, I guess you could take this off if you don't want to use it. It also has a on-off valve you hook the water hose to. That way water will go through it. You don't have to use it like that if you don't want to. You know, you just dip it down in a bucket with the, where your soap is at and go to town, right? Anyway, that's that. Surely everybody knows how to use that. Next, that ferrule remover or compression sleeve. I don't know, a lot of people call them a lot of different things. What you do is you see how this screws in like that? What you do is you stick this in your pipe. You stick this in the pipe, and then you stick the big nut, and screw it onto here. And then when you tighten this, obviously the nut is on here, it pulls, this holds the pipe, and it pulls the nut and the ferrule off at the same time. Pretty cool. Like I said, sometimes them things are hard to get off without messing up the pipe. And sometimes if there's not that much pipe, and see, you don't have to, let me start over. Just to clarify, because I know I'm going to have somebody out there saying, oh, that won't reach. I think the pipe actually stops right there. And then, of course, the nut may not go from here to tighten onto this. So, hello. You run this to wherever the nut is, to wherever you can get the nut to screw onto here. And then take it out. Anyway, that's going to come in handy. Next up is the two concrete grinding wheels. Now you don't have to have a nut or anything on the grinder to hold these on, because these screw right on directly onto the grinder. At least they're supposed to. We're going to find out. That way you can see it a little bit better out of the package. That's that. And then this. Don't need instructions, do we? Maybe. This goes on the grinder. And it came with this too, so this may be like a little bushing to go in here, depending on how big around your grinder is. This part, you just tighten it on like that. It's pretty cool. Then of course you hook the vacuum hose there. So let me put this back. And I'm not going to take this out of the little thing here. It's just a hose. Got a bunch of different bushings. I don't know what they're for. Haven't read the instructions. Probably for different size vacuum cleaners or whatever. Even got a metal one. Maybe the metal one clips over all of it to hold it in place. We'll see though. Okay. I just want to say, this little thing right here, it goes on your grinder. And then of course this blue thing closes up. You open it up like this if you want to get up against a wall, you know, or your baseboard or whatever. And then you close it for all the other spots. This thing is worth its weight in gold, in my opinion. I don't remember how much it was. I think it was 29 bucks. Best money I've spent in a while. With the right vacuum cleaner. Because, you know, the vacuum cleaner attachment attaches here. Keeps all the dust down. Now with the Ryobi vacuum cleaner, it didn't work all that good. because the vacuum cleaner didn't have enough suction, I guess. So let me show you something. Okay, as you can see, the Ryobi one's right there. It didn't work out all that good. You see that? We went and got this little Craftsman one. And there's the box to it right there. In case anybody wants to see that kind of stuff. Hold on, let me see if I can tip this box up where you can see it a little better. There you go. It even comes with a 3-year warranty. That's pretty cool. But anyway, we had to get that one. So let's get back to the table. All right, now I was going to do a separate review of that vacuum cleaner, but what's to review? It's a vacuum cleaner. Sucks, right? Get it? Vacuum cleaner sucks. Anyway, that vacuum cleaner has a lot more suction than the Ryobi one, and it's not near as loud as the Ryobi one. That Ryobi vacuum cleaner is loud. Plus, using the grinder, you got to worry about them batteries going dead. Then using the Ryobi vacuum cleaner, you got to worry about them batteries going dead. So it was a pain in the butt. Now obviously I've already put the cutting wheel back on here and this shield back on here. But I had it where I was using this on here, on the grinder. And, of course, those grinding wheels for concrete that I was telling you about are in this video. The battery, I think I have a small battery that I got from somebody. And then this grinder either came with a 5 amp hour or a 6 amp hour, I believe is what they are. One came with this tool, the flex grinder, and then the other battery came with the impact driver that I got from Joshua. Both of these tools from him. I appreciate that. But those high amp hour batteries, the little amp hour one, the small one that I said I had, I think I got it from Robert, Tools and Tactics. But anyway, it didn't last very long at all. Now the higher amp hour batteries with the grinding wheel for grinding concrete, last maybe 5 minutes if you're lucky, and the battery's dead from full charge. So you switch batteries, put another battery on, you got another 5 minutes. Obviously, it takes longer for the charger to charge them than 5 minutes, so you got to sit and wait, and that sucks. Now, I made a comment the other night that this thing was getting hot, and everybody's like, "Oh, but you're using it for grinding concrete. You have to push down on it. You're not supposed to push down on it." Grinders, they was all saying that you got to let the tool do the work. I understand that. I know how to use tools. I've been using grinders since I was 10. In fact, I watched my dad using one of them big old school ones, the metal one, 7-inch grinder, I believe it was. It went right into his kneecap. But anyway, the grinding disc for concrete that are made for grinders, hello, you have to push down to get them to work. And technically, when you're pushing down, not on the cutting wheel like this is a cutting disc. And no, I don't have a battery on there, so I'm not going to cut myself. But when you got a grinding disc and you're grinding, you're not grinding on the whole thing or pushing down on the whole thing, but you're pushing down at an angle, grinding. You have to push down, or else the grinding wheel's not going to work. And if you had one of them big wire wheels that goes on here where the wires are sticking out this way, not this way, if you put it on say a piece of metal or whatever you're wanting to get some rust off of, and you just set it on there and let the tool do the work, right? And you turn it on, it would take forever to get rust off. You have to push on it to put pressure on it for the wire wheel to work. Same thing with the grinding disc for concrete. Same thing for grinding disc for regular grinding wheels. you have to push down some. You're not supposed to push down where you're bogging down the motor. That's where you're supposed to know how to use tools, right? But with that being said, I didn't say the motor was getting too hot to touch. I meant this piece. All this aluminum right here. After just a few minutes of grinding, this would be so hot you couldn't even touch it. You had to let it cool down. I didn't keep using it when it got that hot. I let it cool down, obviously. This grinder, I've had, it's a corded one. Well, it was. I cut the cord off. I've had this grinder, as you can see, it's old, dusty, beat up. I've had it for 20, 25 years, maybe even longer than that. And it was used when I got it. I don't know how old it is, but it is made in the USA. I thought that was pretty cool. You might want to see that. Right in there somewhere, I think it says made in the USA. Pretty cool. This grinder, you can push down on it all day long with that grinding wheel. This never got hot. Never. And of course, neither did the motor. But this one finally did take a crap. I don't know. I may put the cord back on here because I think that concrete wheel, you know, like a grinding disc or a cutting disc, cutoff wheel. It just fits over it, and then you put this on it to tighten it up to hold the disc on here. Well, that grinding wheel for concrete, it's not made that way. It screws on. And I think it was screwing on too far to where it was already past the threads, and it was causing it to wobble. And when I started using this, after a while of using it, I mean, I used this for, well, this one and that one for a day and a half. Steady grinding on concrete. Never got hot. Never. That Flex did. Now, I'm not trying to talk bad about the Flex. I love this. This thing, as far as cutting stuff, a short run, you're going to cut something, works great. Grinding works great. But if you're going to be using it for a long period of time, it gets hot, and it shouldn't do that. Now this one, it started wobbling, and it was bouncing on the concrete. So I thought this was messed up. So I brought it out here, and I took it apart, took the cord off of it because I was going to throw it away. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's what it was. I think that grinding wheel for concrete was going down too far, and there wasn't hardly any threads holding it on. So I should have put a spacer on there. So the threads of the grinding wheel is in the thread area of this shaft. I say that because I started using this. Alloy Man. Now, this says it goes from 600 to 3,000 RPMs. I had it all the way up on 7, which is as high as it goes. And you see how these threads go all the way down? And it don't have that big space with no thread like that one does. It didn't wobble on this one at all. I finished the floor. I used the Flex and this grinder probably the first half a day, and then I used this one the rest of the time. Now this is it's supposed to be a sander polisher, I believe. You have to check out my other video of me reviewing this. And you know, I got this folded down so it'll fit in the drawer of the toolbox. This thing worked all day long, you know, just with me taking a break, you know, to give my knees a break or whatever. And none of it got hot. This did not get hot. The aluminum, nothing got hot. It just worked. Now, how long it'll stay working after I used it that way for grinding concrete, I don't know. Because it technically ain't made for that, but it's basically the same thing as a grinder. It just has a speed control on it. So this thing here, though, now it's supposed to be universal fit, or at least that's what I thought. Their website says it fits Hercules and Bauer grinders and some other grinders. It comes with bushings and everything you can put to make them fit and all that. Sometimes it fit on this grinder, but it was all the way tight and it was still a little loose. It did not fit on this grinder. I don't know why, but it didn't. It wouldn't tighten up on it. So I had to use the bushing, and I had to modify the bushing because it was too thick. Once I put it on here, this wouldn't go on it, even opened up all the way. So if you get this, you may have to modify how it goes on your grinder, but it works great. I mean, technically all it is a shield with a brush. You know, this shield comes around, and if I can get it to go around now. See how the blue thing is around now and it's just a circle? It works great. No dust at all. Now that vacuum cleaner, the new Craftsman one, it comes with a bag. If you don't use the bag, you can pick up big stuff, you know, that has weight to it, and it works great. But if you're picking up dust, like fine dust, like almost like powder from concrete, all it does is pick it up and blow it out the back. You have to use the bag. So just in case anybody's wondering about that, you need the bag, or you're going to fill your room full of dust, and then it kind of defeats the purpose of using a vacuum cleaner, right? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.